What if I told you that the rise and fall of one civilization shaped the very foundations of our modern world? A civilization that built an empire spanning 3 continents, ruled by emperors who held absolute power, and an army that conquered everything in its path. This is the story of ancient Rome, its glory, its innovations, and its ultimate downfall. It all began in 753 BCE, according to legend, when twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, were raised by a she-wolf. Romulus would go on to establish the city of Rome, setting the stage for an empire that would dominate history. But Rome wasn't always a mighty empire. It started as a humble city-state, ruled by kings, before transforming into a republic around 509 BCE. At first, Rome struggled to assert itself. The neighboring Etruscans and Greeks posed constant threats, but the Romans, driven by resilience and military strategy, overcame these challenges. They perfected the art of warfare, developing the disciplined and highly organized Roman legions. With a government that introduced ideas of democracy and a system of checks and balances, Rome expanded. It clashed with Carthage in the Punic Wars, 3 brutal conflicts that spanned over a century. Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, led his army and war elephants across the Alps, dealing Rome one of its greatest threats. But Rome persevered. By 146 BCE, Carthage was destroyed, and Rome had become the dominant power of the Mediterranean. Yet, with great power comes great conflict. By 27 BCE, Rome had transitioned into an empire under the rule of Augustus, the first emperor. This marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, a period of peace, prosperity, and unprecedented expansion. Rome stretched from Britain to the Middle East, bringing with it engineering, marvels such as aqueducts, roads, and the Colosseum. The Romans mastered architecture and governance, influencing modern law, politics, and even our calendar. Cities flourished under Roman infrastructure. Roads, often still used today, connected the empire efficiently, allowing for trade, military movement, and cultural exchange. But life in Rome wasn't perfect. While the elite enjoyed lavish feasts, grand villas, and political power, the lower classes struggled. Many were dependent on government grain handouts, and slavery was widespread. Gladiatorial games were held to appease the masses, a spectacle of life and death that entertained thousands in massive arenas. The empire, however, was vast, too vast. Maintaining control over such a large territory became increasingly difficult. Internal power struggles, corruption, and economic decline began to show. As Rome expanded, so did its problems. The empire became divided, with the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, growing wealthier and more stable, while the Western Roman Empire crumbled under pressure. Invasions from Germanic tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals weakened the empire. In 410 CE, Rome was sacked for the first time in 800 years by Alaric and his Visigoths. The empire was no longer invincible. Internal strife furthered its downfall. Corrupt emperors, high taxes, inflation, and over-reliance on mercenary armies led to instability. The final blow came in 476 CE, when the Germanic leader Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. It was the end of an era, but not the end of Rome's legacy. Even after its fall, Rome's influence never faded. Its legal system, language, and architectural designs continue to shape our world today. Latin, the language of the Romans, evolved into the Romance languages: Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. From the layout of our cities to the structure of our governments, Rome's legacy endures. The United States political system, for example, is deeply rooted in Roman Republican ideals. The Senate, the concept of elected officials, and even our laws reflect Rome's governance. Rome's engineering feats, such as aqueducts and road networks, inspired modern infrastructure. Even the Roman numeral system remains in use, seen in clock faces, book chapters, and movie credits. So the next time you walk on a well-paved road, enter a grand building with arches, or hear a phrase in Latin, remember, you are walking in the footsteps of an empire that changed the course of history forever. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like